The California primary was June 2nd. You probably know it took some time before the races were called. Why? Because tens of thousands of mail ballots that were postmarked on or before Election Day were still being legally counted, as they should be, as they have been for years, as California law explicitly allows. Hey, this is Zach once again. There's a Supreme Court case that could fundamentally change how mail voting works in America. The case is called Watson versus Republican National Committee. You may not have heard about it, but if the Supreme Court rules the way many legal observers expect, millions of legally cast mail ballots could be rejected in future federal elections. Mississippi currently allows mail ballots that are postmarked by Election Day to be counted if they arrive within 5 business days afterwards. That's not unusual. There are 30 states, as well as the District of Columbia, have similar grace periods. The RNC sued, arguing that federal law requires ballots not only to be cast by Election Day, but also received by Election Day. A federal appeals court agreed. Now, SCOTUS is preparing to decide whether these grace periods can survive. Now, why does this matter? Well, because many Americans vote by mail. We're talking senior citizens, military families in the US and overseas, rural voters, citizens who live outside of the country, people with disabilities, and workers who can't spend hours standing in line on Election Day. In states like California, vote by mail has become a normal part of the election process. California allows ballots postmarked by Election Day to be counted up to 7 days later. If Watson goes against the states, those ballots could be rejected in future federal elections. And there's another development making this fight even more significant. The US Postal Service recently proposed a rule that could allow it to refuse delivery of mail ballots in states that do not provide voter information requested by the federal government. Voting rights groups and Democratic officials argue the proposal would give the federal government unprecedented influence over mail voting and election administration. The NAACP has already gone to court, arguing the proposal violates an existing settlement that requires the Postal Service to prioritize election mail. Whether these efforts ultimately survive legal challenges remains to be seen. But together, they signal a broader fight over who controls election administration and how mail voting will function going forward. Supporters of the lawsuit argue that Election Day should be a hard deadline and that ballots should arrive before voting ends. Opponents argue that voters should not lose their voice because of mail delays beyond their control. That debate is now in the hands of the highest court in the country. And the decision could arrive just months before the midterm elections. What can you do? Well, first, know your state's mail ballot deadlines. Second, if you plan to vote by mail, return your ballot as early as possible. Third, contact your senators and representatives to the House and let them know where you stand on mail voting protections and election access. Most of them are up for a re-election this year. Call the Congressional Switchboard 202-224-3121. You can find your senators at senate.gov and your representative at house.gov. Finally, stay informed. The rules governing elections change quickly, and many of the most important decisions are being made in courts and federal agencies not too long before Election Day arrives. Please subscribe, share, like, and comment. Thank you for watching, and fight for democracy.